A man doesn't fall for beauty alone. He becomes possessed when something far deeper than attraction takes hold. Something he can't name, but can't escape either. That force is not charm, looks, or words. It's an energy, one that only a small number of women ever truly embody. Before we go deeper, take a moment to subscribe, because what you're about to learn isn't another dating tip. It's a psychological key Jung buried beneath his theory of anima and shadow, and it reveals why certain women ignite devotion while others only inspire desire. Jung believed that every man carries an inner feminine image, the anima. She is not a woman of flesh, but a projection of his soul's longing. When he meets someone who mirrors her essence, he feels recognition that transcends logic. His mind believes it's love. His psyche believes it's home. But what he's really encountering is his own unconscious, reflected through her. The secret lies in what kind of mirror she is. Most women, without realizing it, reflect a man's surface, his ego, his pride, his need to be admired. But the rare woman who stirs obsession, she mirrors his depth. She awakens his unlived emotions, the tenderness, vulnerability, and chaos he hides. That's why her energy feels both irresistible and unsettling. She becomes a portal between who he is and who he's afraid to become. This is where Jung's hidden test begins. When a man meets a woman whose energy embodies wholeness, both softness and mystery, he's unconsciously tested. She awakens his anima, but also challenges his shadow. He either rises to integrate it, or he retreats in fear. You've probably seen it. A man drawn intensely, then suddenly distant, as if burned by his own desire. That's not disinterest. It's spiritual overload. What most women do when this happens is chase, explain, or overgive, thinking closeness will bring him back. But feminine energy that obsesses a man doesn't chase. It invites. It allows the silence to do the speaking, because what grips him is not attention, but the tension between light and dark, the sense that she's both reachable and untouchable. Jung would call this polarity the dance between eros and logos, the union of feeling and reason. The modern world teaches women to lead with performance, showing worth, proving value, seeking validation. But the woman who embodies true feminine magnetism does something paradoxical. She doesn't do, she is. Her stillness reveals more power than any effort could. And that's the first secret. He doesn't become obsessed because she completes him. He becomes obsessed because in her presence, he meets himself. Have you ever wondered why the same woman who once fascinated a man can suddenly become invisible to him? The answer isn't in what she said or did. It's in what energy she stopped radiating. Jung called it the loss of the magnetic anima field, when a woman unconsciously trades presence for performance. Feminine energy that obsesses a man isn't loud or needy. It's the quiet confidence of someone rooted in herself. It's the calm that says, I don't chase what's mine by force. I attract it by being. This is not arrogance or manipulation. It's spiritual gravity, the energy that comes when you're no longer trying to prove your worth. Here's the paradox. The moment a woman tries to secure love, she steps out of the very energy that made her magnetic. The more she seeks control, the more a man feels his unconscious freedom slipping away, and instinctively, he pulls back. Jung believed this pullback isn't rejection, but the psyche's attempt to restore balance. The masculine needs space to rediscover itself. The feminine holds that space without collapsing. That's why true feminine power looks effortless. It's emotional mastery disguised as softness. She doesn't react to distance with panic. She reads it like weather, temporary, not personal. Her calm presence signals to his subconscious, I trust your return. And because energy mirrors energy, her steadiness calls him back with more force than pleading ever could. But make no mistake, this isn't passive waiting. It's active receptivity, the art of holding emotional tension without breaking it. Jung described this state as the container of transformation. When a woman can stay open in uncertainty, she becomes the vessel where the masculine evolves. That's why men often feel both safe and challenged around women who embody this energy. She accepts him completely, yet demands his highest form through her very being. This is the feminine test Jung hinted at, not one of words, but a vibration. Can she stay grounded when his ego retreats? Can she keep her emotional center when love becomes uncertain? Every woman who passes this test becomes unforgettable because she represents something archetypal, the goddess who loves without losing herself. The tragedy is that most women today are taught the opposite: to chase, explain, or emotionally negotiate. But obsession doesn't grow from persuasion, it grows from polarity. A man doesn't crave constant reassurance. He craves the mystery that makes him rise. And that mystery isn't a game. It's the sacred balance between warmth and distance, between making him feel desired, yet never allowing him to feel he possesses your soul. He first notices it in the silence. Not the kind that feels cold or punishing, but the kind that feels alive. A quiet field where his restless mind finally stops searching. That's the power of the feminine essence that Carl Jung described. It doesn't demand attention, it commands it through stillness. When a woman embodies this depth, she awakens something ancient in a man, the memory of wholeness. Jung called this the Anima's call, the moment when a man's outer pursuit of success and status begins to feel hollow. He meets a woman whose energy feels like peace and danger at once. She doesn't try to fix him or compete with his logic. She simply exists, and in her presence, he senses the parts of himself he's long exiled. The boy who once felt, the lover who once dreamed. But this awakening is not comfortable. The same man who feels captivated by her presence may also resist her influence. Jung warned that when the anima is projected onto a woman, she becomes both angel and mirror, an invitation for him to face the emotions he's avoided. The woman who carries this energy unknowingly becomes his mirror of truth, and truth, by nature, destabilizes illusion. This is why her energy doesn't just attract him, it tests him. It exposes the gap between who he is and who he could become. Some men rise through that test, confronting their inner chaos. Others run, not because they don't care, but because they cannot yet handle their own reflection. The feminine energy that obsesses a man isn't seductive because it flatters him. It's magnetic because it confronts him with meaning. You'll recognize this energy in how she moves through uncertainty. She doesn't beg for love or fight for clarity. Her faith in her own value becomes a sanctuary that draws him back, again and again. He may not understand why he returns, only that with her, he feels more alive. This is the hidden alchemy Jung hinted at, the union of opposites. When feminine energy holds space for both devotion and detachment, it creates an emotional polarity that pulls the masculine toward transformation. It's not a trick, it's psychological gravity. And in that gravity, obsession isn't built through control, it's born through surrender. The man doesn't crave her body alone. He craves the serenity she carries, the safety to be undone without judgment. She becomes his reflection of inner freedom. And no matter how far he runs, something in him always circles back, because the soul recognizes what the mind tries to forget. There's a line from Jung that captures the essence of all this. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. That's what happens in love. We think we're choosing people. In truth, we're choosing mirrors, the ones who show us what we've buried inside. The kind of feminine energy that obsesses a man isn't a performance. It's a reflection of deep integration, a woman who has met her own shadows and no longer fears them. She doesn't need a man to complete her, because she already dances between her light and dark without shame. That wholeness is what he feels, even if he can't explain it. To him, it's mystery. To her, it's peace. When a woman reaches this level of awareness, she no longer needs to chase connection. She becomes connection. Her presence invites honesty. Her silence humbles ego. Her self-respect becomes the border where love either grows or dies. Jung believed this was the feminine's divine purpose, to transform through being, not force. And every man who crosses her path will feel that test. But here's the paradox. The same energy that draws him in also liberates her. The moment she stops using her femininity to attract and starts embodying it to express truth, she transcends the cycle of seeking validation. She becomes what Jung would call the individuated woman, whole within herself, no longer defined by whether she is chosen. That is the kind of power no man can own, yet every man remembers. It's this memory, not beauty, not charm, that fuels obsession. Because in her presence, he feels a glimpse of unity with his own lost soul. And once a man has tasted that kind of resonance, he cannot forget it. Even if he leaves, the imprint remains, not as longing for her body, but as hunger for the balance she awakened in him. That's why this energy cannot be faked. You can mimic softness, but not serenity. You can imitate mystery, but not wholeness. Jung's hidden test was never about how to attract. It was about how to evolve. The woman who passes it doesn't chase love. She becomes love's mirror, clear, unwavering, and timeless. So when you wonder what makes one woman unforgettable, the answer isn't manipulation, strategy, or allure. It's self-integration, the quiet radiance of someone who knows her worth, even in silence. And that, more than beauty or charm, is what the rarest men spend lifetimes trying to find again. Because true feminine energy doesn't make him obsessed. It awakens him, and awakening is the most powerful form of desire there is.